A new prefab veggie factory from Japan. How you can save big on your supermarket shop. And let's hear from a food sleuth. For September 5th, this is Food News Today. Good morning. Food News Today is sponsored by ConAgra Foods, who shares with me the desire to provide the most current, interesting, and unbiased food news. Daiwa House, Japan's largest home builder, has introduced the AgriCube, a line of prefab hydroponic vegetable factories aimed at housing complexes, hotels, and top-end restaurants. They call it the first step in the industrialization of agriculture, and they hope to see the cubes become part of our everyday environment. With the continued interest in where our food is coming from and the desire for more locally grown foods in urban environments, as well as the restrictions on what can be grown and where, the AgriCube seems to be a perfect fit, literally. It measures just less than 16 feet long and 8 foot wide. The AgriCube needs plumbing and electrical utility hookups, but that's about it. And they claim that each unit can grow about 10,000 servings of fruits and veggies per year at an operational cost of about $4,500. That equates to about 45 cents per head of lettuce. It's delivered on a flatbed truck and offered at a right price of $70,000. Now, the AgriCube may be soon dispensing fresh fruits and vegetables in your neighborhood. We could be looking at something like the AgriCube to help bring fresh fruits and vegetables year-round and in times of unpredictable weather. But in the meantime, we need to be thinking of some easy tips to help make it through times of increasing food costs because of the drought. Obviously, you should look for sales and stock up, but it's also a great time to revisit your coupon habits. Several simple grocery shopping techniques can help you save cash at the register every time you shop. Last year, we saved $4.6 billion by using coupons. These days, they have an average face value of $1.54. So how can you get these savings? Stay focused and have a planned approach to grocery shopping, and use your Wednesday and Sunday newspaper coupons to save a significant amount each week. Check your store's circular as well as social media sites before you go shopping. Use coupons and deals to make your list. Plan some of your meals around what's on sale. And check the discounters, yes, those dollar stores. They often have more upscale food items for savings that you won't believe. Buy what's in season. When fresh produce is not in season, guess what? The price goes up. If you're looking for spring or summer fruits this fall, check frozen instead. Now, they're packed at their peak of freshness. They've got more nutrition and better taste. Read the ingredient list carefully, as some prepackaged fruits and vegetables have added sugars or salt and should be avoided. But those plain frozen produce items can save you more than fresh out of season. And always check out supermarketguru.com for even more ways to save money. Earlier this week, I spoke with Leslie Chesson, a scientist who studies food adulteration, authenticates foods and their origin. She uncovers the truth about where our foods are coming from and what's really in them. So Leslie, your career sounds fascinating. Tell me, how did you first get into this area of study?
Well, I started working in the field of stable isotopes and ecology in 2002 when I graduated college, and I joined a research lab at the University of Utah. I really got into food forensics in 2006 when I started my master's degree, and that's what my master's degree focused on, was using stable isotopes to investigate where our food came from, how it was produced, where it was shipped, and I finished that degree in 2009.
Now, we're seeing a lot of news headlines about fraud in honey and truffles and olive oil, lots of other foods. How do you think your research can be applied to making sure that we consumers are getting what we think we're buying?
Well, I think stable isotope analysis is great for fact-checking, checking up on what a label claims. So, was that olive oil really from a particular region? Were those oranges really grown in Florida before they went into my orange juice? Was the orange juice really fresh squeezed and not reconstituted someplace else? And so using stable isotopes almost lets you sort of verify the label and make sure that you're spending your food dollar the way that you think you are. It also lets you double check, are things coming from the places that they're supposed to be? If I'm paying for a premium product am I really getting what I'm paying for?
Now, certainly when I take a look at everything you've just said, that's great if you've got your skill, if you've got your lab and so on.
Right.
Is there a way that the average consumer in the future is going to know that you or someone else has actually verified that the product claims and ingredients are correct?
There is actually movement to begin fact-checking using not only stable isotopes but other analytical techniques. There are groups in New Zealand that are certifying independently of producers, so they are using isotopes and other techniques to say, yes, this is really produced this way from this region. I know that in Europe, there's a giant wine database that uses isotopes to say, this is what a varietal looks like this year isotopically. We're going to verify that wine being sold as this year, this vintage, isotopically matches, and it is comparable to what we see in that database. So there is some start to labeling using isotopes, making sure the consumer can look at a product and just like it was labeled organic, you could potentially see a stable isotope label or some other certification label that says, yes, this passed some test, and you can be sure that what you're buying is really what you think you're buying.
So, Leslie, I have to ask you, what was the one food that you looked at that, you tested and then you said, wow, there's no way, I can't believe this one. What surprised you the most?
The most surprising for me was actually working with an organic gardening class recently at the University of Utah here in Salt Lake City. And they were interested in looking at organic vegetables. So things that they were purchasing from the grocery store for a higher price, were they really organic? And we didn't find any cheaters. So they were spending their food dollars wisely there. And I was really surprised. I thought, this is an easy cheat to make. You can make a lot of money by saying something is organic when it's not, but we didn't find any cheaters. So that was the most surprising to me.
That's terrific news. Leslie, thanks so much for joining us, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Remember to log on to foodnewstoday.com anytime. You can access our archives and replay past episodes. And thank you for watching.